All systems have been alerted to your presence, sir.
I have a very bad feeling about this.
I hope you know what you're doing.
The Emperor has been expecting you.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Toy Chest episode 24, being recorded on, February 24th, 2025? I think 24th. I got that right.
That's it. You got it right.
I am your host, Darth Butcher, and from Shadow Nose Network, all the way over there, my neighbor, Alexander Storm.
Got the top spot.
yes, you got the top spot. And, of course, on the other side of the coast, coming in like a blitz transmission, Tommy.
What's going on, guys? How we doing?
I'm good. No Scott today. He'll be back for the next Monday when we do this again, because we are going to drop 2 Mondays in a row. One is a pre-show, which we're going to explain to you what we're doing today. And then we'll be back next Monday to talk about everything that Hasbro dropped, didn't drop, going to drop, whatever they've got in their bags. We'll be breaking that down. So mark your calendars 2 Mondays in a row. I don't know what's going on. It's chaos. We're all, it's just so busy. Before we get into it, our Patreon Shadow Council, there's a QR code right there if you want to feel so inclined to join that ever-growing list. Something special is brewing over there. Stay tuned on our Monday show for Starlight Digest podcast to get a proper shout out and to find out all those final details. So I did my house cleaning. Now it's time to check in with the pit. And of course, Justin Huber. First I am that inner Yoda. He's Commander Bly is Power of the First, and he's also saying to Justin, thanks for keeping that seat warm, brother. Yeah. Scott is not here, but he's here, right? Scott's, so of course we got Howl Runner Base. We've got, of course, he's first last. So Stu John Jedi's checking in, almost first yet again. So I love the whole first and last thing. This is great. It's great. See what Bly did. He started a movement.
He's a trendsetter.
He's a trendsetter.
Yeah.
Rhino Hobbies checking in, wondering if Hasbro will drop Star Wars. Well, we could talk about that. We could talk about what they've got planned. Basil G is checking in. Basil, stay tuned on Monday or Wednesday, and/or I'm so excited. I am utterly excited. Yeah. But Wednesday we will be dropping our breakdown thoughts and everything and getting ready for season 2. I'm kind of bummed that's only 2 seasons, but that's for a Wednesday show. Rhino, that trailer was badass. Let's see. We've got Mando Mike checking in. Good evening. Hey guys. Hey Pit. Lax Sivrak is here. Say hello. This is why I love doing shows at 5:30 because the East Coast guys could get in on the action.
Yeah.
Live. We love the replay crew too, by the way. So if you're on the replay crew, drop a comment in the section below and join the conversation of everything that we've got going here today. Phantom Menace Dennis always last. Aw. I mean, I guess it's a good thing on this show, on this channel. It's a good thing being last because there are things. We got Trevor Ritchie. Hey fellas. All right. I think that's everybody. If I missed you, I will get to you. But right now, guys, Hasbro announced that they're going to do a live stream this Wednesday, right?
Again.
And it's a Star Wars one, right? They pushed back the G.I. Joe one. They've kind of like sandwiched this one. I think we only got like a week notice, for it. Joey is checking in also. Hey, what's up, man? So we only got like a week notice. That's why I didn't want to push this show back. Yeah. But it got our wheels spinning. It's like, all right, cool. We haven't heard from them in a long time since the beginning of the year, and that was like a 4-figure drop. It wasn't much. It was just kind of like calm before they start telling us that they're going to have a heavy presence of celebration. Yeah. More to come. And that's why I was like, what was it? Rhino Hobby's comment was wondering if Hasbro will drop Star Wars. I don't think they'll ever drop Star Wars. No. And we've discussed this kind of thing, before, where even if they did and someone else picked it up, I think it kills the line, no matter who gets it. Yes, there will be some people that stay on, but I think for the most part, because again, it'll be the whole starting over from scratch, and it would just kill it. So no, they won't drop it. But there was some news or email list that went out through Hasbro saying that they're kind of going in a direction of paying to play or playing to win. Yeah, was the thing, right? You seen that? The
new slogan, their new business model.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand their pillars and how they're doing, but they're really focusing on the entertainment aspect of it, and then of course the merchandise that follows it, right? So that's like, okay, more movies, more cartoons and movies, and then a supporting figure line with that. I don't know. I don't really know how to like break that down just yet, because they use a lot of like lawyer jargon in those. I don't know. But it did say specifically Star Wars in that. And if I'm going by what I'm thinking, that's probably maybe a bad thing for our wish list here and a good thing for future Star Wars projects, because anything future, you might get abundance of toys for current projects, but filling in those gaps as we get into it might take a hit. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to explore that more when as we see it coming down the line. And I want to say Wednesday is going to be the test. This Wednesday, we'll see what they say. What there are, if they're going to just be all smiles again and just kind of like, here's all these things that nobody is having wish lists or taking polls because we don't want. I don't know, but I don't know. First world problems, right, Tommy? I mean, you dropped a video stating, and I loved it because you're like, look, we are privileged to complain about collecting plastic,
Yeah, we are.
And if it hurts you so much, then you need to step away from it, right? Yeah. And so I do implore anybody to go over to Bliss Transmissions, check out that video, because it is a good kind of like, it gets you grounded a little bit, right? Because as I'm talking, I'm sitting there going like, I'm already, preparing myself. What I'm trying not to. I'm preparing myself for live stream to be like, okay, what do you got? You know what I mean? Like, and I don't want to do that. I want to be like, all right, cool, everything's cool. I might not order everything. I might order pick and choose. Yeah. And that's, again, it's a privilege to even have that kind of mentality going into collecting in general.
Well, I will say it's been cool. Or Alex, do you have some?
No. Go ahead.
There's I will say that Hasbro has been definitely doing better about having an ear to the ground, specifically for Black Series. I can't speak so much for TVC.
Right.
There's a dude on Instagram. His name is hero.collections on Instagram. His name is Brandon. He works for the Star Wars and I believe Marvel too, the marketing team for Hasbro. He's been popping into live streams in the chat. I know he's been on some other channels, and he was on the Out of the Basement channel yesterday in their live chat. He said that this Wednesday's stream will have more reveals than last month's stream as far as Black Series goes, and to keep your eyes peeled for possibly something bigger coming in this next stream this week. So I don't know if that means like a vehicle or a big fig or something specifically Black Series that's going to be different and bigger. So I'm interested to see what he means by that this Wednesday.
Same, and I'm preparing myself to support everything Black Series that like all in, especially for any vehicles like that. Alex, you had something real fast before I hit the pit.
I'm just on the sentiment that we were talking before. It's just that
is that me or
there's a sense of like Hasbro I think has to make a pivot we've actually standardly seen. And did I pop out?
Just for a second there. You're back.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah, okay, all right. But I think they're going to make a pivot, and I think the pivot can't be just Black Series or Vintage Series. I think that the pivot has to be something new. They can't keep doing. So that's what I think that whole playing to win is that they're going to have a different game plan.
Yeah. Star Wars Maximum Series. I've said it before. It's a good idea. I'm all in on that. I don't care what the controversy is on that Marvel stuff. That's a great idea. As long as they don't like redo everything, right? But something new. Okay. All right. We'll have to keep our ears on. I think that's interesting. We've got Homie Damn. Checking in. We got despite Hasbro's quarterly performance, their Star Wars license performed better in many of their other toy lines. I mean, I didn't slow down. You know what I mean? Like I didn't slow down on buying stuff and supporting, and the people that I know haven't done, really slowed down a lot. I might have stopped collecting clones for a little bit or picking and choosing my clones at this point. But when they release a Jedi, I am all in. I'm like, I will pre-order. I will order first. I will order many. And because I want more, I want to support this line going forward. And so I do think especially with the Andor trail, I do think Star Wars is turning something around, because I'm reminded every so often why Star Wars is so great and why I love it so much, and the toys do it too, because like as soon as like I kind of like, oh man, what are they doing? Here's Saboba. Yes, it's like it's those things, so I hope for this Wednesday there is some of those kind of surprises, especially a big vehicle. I'm all in. Let's see here. We've got Rhino Hobbies. I just opened the new Luke and Leia. I'll say I like them. I like both those figures a lot. I know Scott doesn't. I think he did a review. It's not exactly the definitive Luke or whatever, but I mean, I like the hard plastic goods because I've got the other option. I've got both, right?
Right.
Hell Runner. So Tommy says we're getting more than 2 Black Series.
More than 2. If I were to guess, I would say like 3 to 5 Black Series figures, and then also this extra like new different thing. Yeah. Justin Herbert, maybe something for both collectors and kids alike. Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about that other line that they have, the Galactic Heroes or whatever it's called. Epic Hero Collection.
Epic Heroes. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great introductory way to get kids to play in the sandbox with those figures. Boom, boom, boom. They're not that far too expensive. They're overly, fantasy. They're fantasy style. Like I mean, they're interchangeable. I think there's room for it all. I really do. And I think Star Wars especially always has to have those 3 pillars: the preschool line, the 3 3/4, and then the Black Series moving forward, and then of course if they do a maximum, that's going to be like, here's this Darth Vader, and it's like, I mean, it blends really good with your Black Series, but also it's also a $50 figure, but you get, I mean, look at the poses, look at the, styles and different accessories or whatever it is. I think Hasbro really could be seeing hitting all those lines, hitting all those asterisks on collecting, not just one line or two lines.
Yeah, and I think that's the most surprising thing for me, honestly, with all of the pushback from voices in the collecting community with Maximum Spider-Man was very clearly with Maximum Spider-Man. This is a push from Hasbro to give collectors something. This is a product for us adults that would care a lot more about alternate heads, alternate hands, web effects. A 9-year-old isn't going to care if their Spider-Man figure has 6 different sets of hands or 3 different heads on his figure. It's something that they've experimented with, and whether I know a lot of us have our opinions on it one way or the other. Pre-sold out like everywhere. So
they did something right.
Yeah, they must have struck a chord with the general audience, because that one did pretty damn well. And I hear that the next one is going to be like an $80 Hulk or something like that.
Yeah, makes sense, right? I mean, no, I think like growing up playing with toys and all that stuff, there's that it grew with us. I think I even mentioned on our Sarlacc show was like somebody said that Star Wars is for kids. I said 100%, but we're the kids and we grew up. I mean, now we're 50. You know what I mean? It's like on the original trilogy aspect, that it's like, and now we still are trying to play in that Star Wars sandbox. So we're going to spend $50 for a figure, or, for a maximum, something like that. We're going to do that. And that stuff wasn't around when we were kids. We didn't throw those we didn't set those on fire. We set the other guys, our 3 3/4 on fire.
You've got to think about the incredible point of just how intelligent that is when we're talking about demographs and demos. They know that everything else is popping through for when you're looking at, like, between Mofex and Hot Toys, and there's a certain scenario that you just get to where you just can't afford that in certain fans. They're not going to pay those prices. You give that little middle level between it's not Black Series and it's not, Mofex, it's right here's a sweet spot. Then no one in the collecting community feels like they're 100% being excluded,
Right. Room for it all. Like the pit is even saying, room for it all, It's a great point. John Graber checking in. The Andor TIE Fighter better be available on April 25th at least. Yeah, I mean, 3 3/4 probably will.
Maybe.
I could see that because it's Imperial and it works no matter what. It's not just show specific, because that is what the TIE Interceptor, I think it is.
TIE Avenger.
Avenger. Thank you.
Another new TIE Fighter.
Yeah. So, but it goes right in that line where you can army build it and put it right in the mix and never miss a beat, right? So, well, as we anticipate that, there's news coming, and that'll be our next show. We're gonna dive into all that stuff. But I asked myself, I was like, what pre-show? Okay, a wish list, and I know that Hasbro has even come out and said that they listen, or if you want something, let us know, right? If you guys want, Carson Teva, then let us know. And no matter how many times we tell them, Carson, it's eventually they'll get to it, as long as they put it on the whiteboard. And if they come out and say, look, guys, it's coming, we just maybe not this year, it has to be the right timing, and that's all I need. It's just that whole aspect of like, it's coming. But I took it upon myself to do a Black Series wish list now. And I got to tell you, as I started pulling in figure, I started looking at, I don't know how many figures there are, 300 at this point,
Probably something like that.
So, and as I'm pulling in these figures, I have a graphic to show you guys. I was getting upset on how many were missing out of this line that honestly should have been mainline figures already. It might shock some people that they haven't made these yet, but then I stopped myself pulling in figures, and honestly, this is mostly from the original trilogy. My bread and butter. And of course, this is my wish list. So I'm a little biased on that. I will admit that, So I didn't really go to the Disney shows or like Clone Wars era and pull in because Tommy did, had some rumors about, Krell coming and certain things that are going to be filling in. So,
yep.
But I was starting to pull those in, and here it is. Here's the master wish list, and then I'll break it down. But
okay,
that right there is just a small, like very, very small portion of figures we don't have. And these are almost common sense figures. I mean, we even got Lobot in there. We've got a Death Star gunner. I mean, we don't even have a gunner. Garandin, Nemodians, any Queen Amidala, Boss Nass, Wooher. There's just droids and aliens. This is mostly from the original trilogy. Some prequels. We do have Carson Teva on there, but Max Rebo Band, Imperial dignitaries. I mean, there's so many one of those things. Like some of these should have been made. It's almost like, did they miss their mark on this? Because it's hard to sell those today. Right? It's hard to sell those today. But when this line was coming out, when they had chances and opportunities to be like put out waves of figures, those probably would have done a lot better than if they would have put out today. They kind of waited a little bit too long. I could put the graphic back up if you guys want to see that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find. Maybe you have to pull it up again. Where's Rose Tico from Rise of Skywalker? I'm trying to find.
She's out. Yeah, and that's the thing. I have her. She's on my shelf.
Yeah, you have the Last Jedi
not from Rise of Sky.
Yeah. You have Last Jedi.
You're right. There is another version. No.
I think with a lot of these characters, you're looking at a lot of stuff that you and I want, which is
yes,
as Hasbro would consider a C-list character, as
absolutely,
opposed to your main heroes, your supporting cast, your troopers. With a lot of these, I feel like this is what the playing to win strategy might be targeting. Smaller quantities of characters like this that you're going to send to the fan channel or put in multi-packs and make made to order and do things like that. Why not do essentially what TVC has done with a lot of those Amazon 4-packs? Like they just did one for the Return of the Jedi 40th. They put like 4 skiff guards in there. Why don't you just do that and do like 6 or 8 of them in Black Series, $200? Boom. Here's 8 figures. Have them.
When I was putting that together, I even put like Luke and Back to Tank, FX7 and 21B as a Comic-Con exclusive, whatever. I mean, those they fit. Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru. Boom, 2-pack. So a lot of those, absolutely, especially those Cantina aliens. Wooher with the Tonica sisters, or whatever it is. And as like I said, I stopped myself from pulling those in because there was so many more. But then I was like, okay, these are the figures that they're C-list. I wasn't going deep dive, deep cuts. Yeah. There's a couple of deep cuts in there, but not overly. There's almost ones like Lobot. Yeah. Why don't we have a Lobot? You know what I mean? He's a fan favorite. 21B is a fan favorite, and a lot of those are like from original Kenner lines that we don't have in the Black Series 10 years into it. So, and again, wondering if it's too late. It's too late for that. But with your sentiment of like breaking it into 2-packs, or maybe they come with vehicles at this point, or a build a diorama set, like I said, continuing the Cantina, put Wooher in there, right? There's still a chance and still a hope. Made to order would be great. Especially like I said, $100. There's 4 figures here. Muff Pack, Kabe, Snaggletooth, blah blah blah. Just to flesh that out. And Trevor, Owen Brew, Blue Milk, Droid 3-pack. I mean, yes. Like, would that be if someone's walking down the toy aisle that's not us? Would they buy it? Probably not.
No,
we would buy it. I would pre-order it, but do that. Pre-order it, have it a pulse only kind of stuff when it comes to this. And then, of course, when it comes to Disney Plus shows, whatever, that's when you flood the retails with Mandalorians and Grogu's and everything, right? But here it is. I broke it down into a Return to Tatooine wish list. Like this is
Okay.
something. This is 4 waves that I can think of. You got a Return of the Jedi wave, and you've got a Tatooine or a New Hope wave that can flesh these out. And what we've been lacking for a long time in Star Wars is waves of similar figures.
Themes.
Thank you. The wave of themes. Yeah, they're lacking in that. So if they did a Return to Tatooine and they market it that way, then we can see our Max Rebo with, AD8, EV9, Weequay, right? We can see that stuff. We could have seen a Cantina wave of returning to Tatooine, just like Hot Toys did with their right $300 figures. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's like, well, I was just thinking, like, taking from the master list that I had and putting it as something where if they brought back waves of this, would that work better than doing, like I said, sporadically adding those in and hoping that they sell? Or if they say, hey, we're returning to Tatooine this time, and market, you are getting Jabba's denizens, you are getting these, the skip guards, and would that probably work better, right, as a marketing tag, because they had that Return to Tatooine for a year, and they have a Cantina around, they have a HasLab around for TVC, but why not blend the two lines? Like I was talking to Scott, we do wish if Wooher was coming out for TVC, it should be coming out for Black Series, and that's
Yeah, I think the made to order makes a lot of sense for some of the outlier characters, though,
Right.
because it's like they're, again, you're not going to spend the time in retail, and they don't want to have stuff going down to Ross and the Ollies and everything. So I think made to order, if it's specific, putting more stuff on Hasbro Pulse, they're still mass producing that.
Yeah.
So with the made to order, if there's 4 figures that are kind of like, these are so, but if you fans really want it, and like, let's say there's like, 5,000 that are made, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
They've made their money, but at least it's not sitting on retail, and it's not seeming the point that it's not selling,
Yeah.
Right.
It's almost like a good faith thing of like, look, we see a collection and we see a vision of a toy collection, especially like I said, Black Series, right? And if you look at, like I said, I could sit there and I can go through all the figures, and I've always been the ones like, really, this is what I have, and it's so great. And again, there's tons of figures that we do have, and they're fantastic. But then you start looking like, man, where's like Lobot? Where's to like this shelf right there with Jabba? That's the only thing from Jabba's Denizen, and there's only Bib Fortuna and the Gamorrean Guard. That's it as far as like the creatures and everything. And we've got Nikto, we've got Klaatu, we've got Baraba, Weequays. I mean, we got Yak Face. We've got, there's a lot. Reese. There's a lot there that would make it Star Warsy. Like really make it. Maybe that kind of collecting does go to a Pulse only. You know what I mean? Like, look, here's a special order, and people vote on it. And so, so it's like how they did the fan character. Yeah, the fan vote, where they take a job as denizens. So, look, we're going to get to all of these, but right now, which one do you want for this next wave?
Yeah.
And if everybody voted Reese, all right, boom, here's a made to order. It's you pre-order it, and maybe, I don't know, maybe you do it like Hot Toys. You do a non-refundable $2 deposit. I don't know what it is. So, so it's got to be worth their while. We understand that it's a business. But also, as collectors, we got to support that too. If we're asking for it and they give it to us, we buy it. You know what I mean? That's just,
that's honestly part of the reason I made my video I made last week, where I talked about, is it getting too expensive?
Yeah.
Or what I should have titled it is, or there's some people that are just being whiners. Because the big thing with uniquely the Star Wars action figure world is, Black Series has this weird sticker shock with anything over $24.99, and I see comments on every forum, every comment section. Anytime a figure is a penny over $24.99, it's, well, this is too expensive. I refuse to pay.
Right.
It's not that you can't. A lot of cases for these collectors, it's not that they can't pay over $24.99 for that deluxe figure or that vehicle set. It's that they won't pay $24.99, and that's part of the issue, in my opinion. And then to your other point, when you talked about, where are these C-list characters? We should have them by now. I think if you look at how much new media has come out, and at the end of the day, Hasbro as a licensee, it's always been their job to market the new project with toys. If the last 5 years with we were getting 3-4 shows a year for since 2019 till just this year, they finally decided to slow things down.
Yeah,
and this year
maybe they didn't get a chance to.
This year you get a lot of prequel trilogy stuff coming up in the pipe for more obscure characters like random Jedi that don't even have speaking roles, and more minor characters like Sebulba. I think that OT will get its turn. And I think that that going forward, we're going to see a lot more of the smaller characters, the less significant characters, the fan favorite background characters, because they don't have to be committing so much budget and so many figure slots every year to the new show, the new movie, the new this.
Yeah, and totally understandable, right? I mean, because again, it's not like, okay, so when Power of the Force 2 first came out back in 1995, there was nothing slated, but people I mean, you could not keep them on the shelves. People, I did. I was like, the hunt was on, knowing that, and they could go deep. And every figure that came out, it was just like an explosion of excitement. And they're like, with the Star Wars Insider, like, we're doing these 5 figures. They didn't have to catch up or keep up on anything media wise. It was all, I mean, so there is even if it's like one time a year, look, in every May Star Wars month, we're going to go back, we're going to retro this sucker. And then maybe sprinkle it in throughout the year. But you'll get the Andors, you'll get everything else,
Well, I think like Tommy was saying, we've talked about this over on our channel about the it's look, at one point or another, expect this to happen, and I think fans have to start getting this in their mindset. The $30 figure is coming. Is the basic figure is going to cost $30.
Yeah,
get it in your head already. Start wrapping it around and understand that it's coming. Because it will, because that's just the natural progression of stuff. We go a couple of years ago, remember figures were $14.95?
Yeah.
And then they jumped to 20. People were going to lose their minds in 1999. And then the $30 figure is going to come. It's natural. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think the attacks on certain levels of, because people don't understand the sense of business, tooling cost.
Yeah.
You can't add new joints, new situations without it costing. It's going to be costing from overseas. There's a cost that comes from that. Yeah, they're going to pass it on to consumers. And like Tommy's video so eloquently said, just don't buy it. If you need to get out of it, that's fine. You can put your resources into something else. But for all the people that are in the collecting atmosphere, don't ruin their joy from it.
Yeah, that's that is key. You could have constructive criticism and be look, but if Alex wants to buy it, I'm not going to go and like text and make him feel bad and guilt, well, you're buying that figure. It's not my role to do that, and keyboards hide a lot of things. So, it's always going to be a thing, right? It's just how we react to it too. If we just, again, if you're into support, you're into the support, right? So Hal Renner is up to his old tricks in the chat. I see you. I see you. Mando screwed OT.
Scott says it's time to get him banned.
And Laxervac, man, it's
I have to do it.
It's Hal Renner. So we do have, we have William Rodriguez checking in. We have Tyrone King. He does bring up a good point. Is that I'm a big sneakerhead, and Jordan brands always give a heads up on what's coming soon. They did eliminate the pipeline, which we're not going to see what's coming soon. So that will generate that excitement, but it also will generate the unknown and fear too. Like how Runner said, or I think it was Rhino or said that are we continuing? Because if they start to dwindle down the information and news and releases, that's a sign of, as a gamer, I know how this works. Content dwindles, it's going to go into maintenance modes very soon. You know what I mean? That is a fear. As long as they're, they have communication and say, no, we're just taking maybe a little different approach to different things, and maybe we're regrouping. Obviously, we all know that Hasbro is regrouping financially, headquarters, personnel, all that stuff. So there is going to be a little bit of a flux there. Like we might not get as much, but maybe we'll get what we're getting is going to be awesome. That too, you know. And this is a lifelong hobby for a lot of us too. So you know, let's see. We've got Luffy QLF. Luffy QLF. Hello there, is checking in. I just, you never know. So let's see. Dr. Brentley, unless it's a Jar Jar figure, then you can make him feel bad about it.
Yeah.
Alex, do you have a Jar Jar collection on the right?
No, but we have debated though. If there's anything I want to see, I remember they had the Star Wars Black Series. I think it was the Alternate Realms, or the ones where they had the white suit Darth Vader. And
for
the Darth Jar Jar,
the comic book.
Like, I have to have a Darth Jar Jar. If they make it,
look,
I'm buying it. Bro.
Look, I a lot of people will, especially I know Joey in our chat. He will 100% buy 5 of them. You know.
Yes.
All day.
Yeah. I'll buy one. What the hell? I'll buy 2. I'll keep one in the box, and I will open one. So. Oh man, Stu John, I finally got the B2 Super Battle Droid today. Oh, wow. Yes, I have. I have 2 of them. I have the 2-pack and I have the regular release. So
I'm so happy.
Yeah, I'm thrilled that Hasbro did the droids, the Droidekas, the Super Battle Droids. I was just like, man, thank you, Hasbro, for that. You know, honestly, we're going to give you credit. If we like something, we should let Hasbro know if we like something. Also, not always that we didn't like it. So
and kind of honestly, it might honestly be a blessing in disguise that, like, for you, Mooch, that you haven't gotten those Cantina aliens or those Jabba denizens yet, because if you got them back in 2015,
I agree.
The difference in quality from then to now is night and day. So honestly, if you get them in the next couple of years, you're getting the best the Black
the
Series
definitive,
guaranteed.
Yes,
the real, the better articulation. Yeah,
and that's cool. And because I would be kind of pissed if I had to buy 3 of them, even though I wanted one. Now I gotta buy the 3rd one, right? So, 100% good point. Because again, that Black Series in general went through some growing pains, and then they upped their technology. They invested in this real scan technology that they own, and then they were like, look, well, we're going to make our collection even better. So
almost ask yourself the question too. Let's just say they gave you everything that you wanted all at once. Is there a level of completion? Do you just say to yourself, like, that's it, I'm done collecting?
No.
Especially if you're a one-line fan. If I've gotten the definitive Star Wars thing, then I'm done. And they kind of it's kind of give you bait and kind of throw enough to just keep you in a little bit more, so you'll keep combining. And
they're a business.
Some other stuff.
They're a business, right? The carrot on the stick is a thing. It's always going to be a thing. And just like I said, and I'll get to TVC in a sec, but like, this is just a drop in the bucket of future stuff that they can keep that carrot on the stick, right? I mean, really, if you think about it, if we had all of these, then I'd be like, well, maybe I'll start collecting clones again. I don't know. It's like, it's so funny because I have every single clone that they put out, just
because they're cool.
I won't disagree, but it hurts every time I pre-order another clone.
Wow.
But Stu John, I think we'll see some new figures for 50th and 2027. If they start to recognize patterns in the market, in cost, in selection, then they have plenty of opportunities to utilize these anniversaries to, all right, return to Tatooine again. Boom. Okay, now again, here's waves, and we're gonna make these 7-8 figures a complete different packaging. And so they have a Tatooine theme behind it. There's a lot of marketing things that they could do, and I think one of the major complaints is that when we see these live streams, we see these people up front, again, that's their jobs, that's what they're doing. I think it panics us as collectors. I'll just speak broadly. I won't speak for anybody, but it panics when they don't share that same enthusiasm as far as their character selection or
Right.
their wanting of making figures we don't have, or figures that they want to get to, like the GI Joe team. If you ask them, they will give you a question. Absolutely, I want to do that figure. I have to get to that figure. We have a concept, but you ask the Star Wars team, it's just crickets. And maybe that's contractual. I don't know. Maybe it's something that they can't say, yeah, we're going to work on a yak face. But I think that those handcuffs should be lifted in any kind of contractual thing. Even Lucasfilm would benefit from it. If they were allowed to say, yeah, we want to work on a yak face. We want to do a Black Series yak face. Just saying that, you watch how more sales they'll get, because just the notion of like, well, they want to give us the figures. They want to make the figures that we want also. And again, not going into the charts on character selection and stuff like that, because again, like Tommy said, we totally get it. They've got new IPs, they've got new media to market, and that's especially with Andor coming. I mean, they got things to do, and we understand, but it's a community, right? So I don't like the us versus them attitude all the time. There's sometimes bringing your voice heard and say, hey guys, maybe Carson Teva maybe it's time. He's been in every Disney show, a major role in every Disney show. It's like you got people saying it, and there's going to be, so that is the pushback, but there always should be an us and us, not us versus them attitude all the time with developers. And again, coming from a gaming world, that's all I see. It's always developers versus the player base, and it spills over,
And that's a problem too that I see a lot of is there's those pages out there that are just terrible people towards the development team with Hasbro. There's people making memes about the characters, or about the characters, the developers, the people in the marketing, and then they say, well, I don't feel heard in the community. Yeah, because you're being a turd when you're trying to say what you want. You're calling them idiots and saying that everything they put out is the worst thing that's ever been made. And then you turn around and go, well, why aren't they accepting my invite to an interview? Why aren't they accepting this? Because it's called professionalism, and you're just being a bully. And there's a difference between there is a level of being cordial, and you can get your message out there very directly without having to be screaming and crying like a baby.
You could be passionate without the hate in it. You really can. And again, being and learning how to do constructive criticism is absolute key. They listen. They do. Even if they're not directly saying it, there's if we make enough noise, just like Stu John. Yeah, Carson Teva, he'd be a peg warmer on this. I understand. I think he would be a peg warmer in retail. I really do. But
I disagree with that one level on one thing. If you did a vintage collection of Carson Teva and you put him with an X-wing, I don't think that peg.
Oh no,
I think if you put him on the shelf, and it's the same thing. McFarlane kind of does that with the Batman figures. He'll post one with another one just because he knows it's one character, like the Lucius Fox with the Tumblr. Lucius Fox is not going to sell. Put him with something. So Carson Teva, put him with an X-wing, he sells.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree. An accessory like that, but also our thing too. It's like, hey, if the new way of purchasing toys is through Pulse only, I saw that.
Pulse. Hall Runners on fire, bro.
Hall Runners is great. I like it.
Yes, I'm going to make it to the 100th anniversary too. Hall Runners.
Yeah. But in the meantime, it's still weak. It's almost like this too. It's like say Hasbro's going to shut down in 5 years, and that's it. We're not going to. But you know what? We have 5 years of fun in between that too.
Yeah.
So it's like, you don't always look at that end of the tunnel, and it goes with everything in life, right? I mean, you don't just look at the end game stuff, but the journey is fun too. And there's a lot you could do within the journey, and then have those 3D printers just going for the things you don't have to fill in the blanks after, right?
And I will say this, I know Hal Runner things have been blacklisted, but no. But I will say, I wish I could say everything on the live stream, but there are some things that have to be classified for now. I can promise you 110% the Hasbro Star Wars team is listening, and there are going to be some absolute banger character choices that are coming out between now and the end of 2026. Not like rumor leak list, this is 100% happening, and you guys as the community are going to eat it up as soon as this stuff comes out. So just hold on.
Yes.
Hold on to your hats. We're going to be in for a treat here going in for the next couple years here.
From last year, I see a 180. I really do, because we got a Saboba, because we got Anakin and Padme. You know what I mean? I do see that. I really do. I was out of collecting for a while. I got back into it, but I switched my collection over to 6-inch.
Yeah.
Yes, I break that list of like, okay, we don't have these because I'm used to that Power of the Force 2 era. I'm used to that, but I'm also not used to having current IPs running at the same time too. So, I do see a pivot in the way they did things last year, and that's where I was like, look, I hope they don't get scared, and I hope they continue that same direction, because I think they nailed it out of the park last year. I really do.
They did a great job.
Especially with that stab. If you haven't gotten that stab, I don't understand why. I mean, well, thank you for leaving more for me. I'm gonna buy more.
It's over $24.99. The whole thing should have been $20, and
whatever. Should have gave it to us. Well, before Scott texts me and gets mad at me for not bringing up this vintage collection, here's his wish list. And
here, I'll just leave real quick. I'll be back when this is
over. Well, I just want to mention too is that some of these are carry over between Black Series and vintage collection, right? Max Rebo band #1. That is my #1 thing I want from Black Series before I die, is the Max Rebo band. Just that in general, Snaggletooth, you got the Emperor from Rise of Skywalker. See, he even put some sequel stuff in there. I don't know. But Bad Batch, they don't even have Bad Batch over there, like the vintage collection. EV9,
so interesting too. Some of these on here are coming for Black Series.
Yes. And some of them we already have for Black Series, like All Back, Bad Batch. We have Baze. We have we don't have we have Brody. We have Saul Guerrera. We needed 2 tubes for Black Series also. I mean,
Black Series. I can tell you right now, Black Series 100% has a Stranger figure on the way. That's a surefire thing.
So good. That'll sell. That'll sell big time.
Yes,
and you know what? That's gonna be my first. Acolyte figure, because I didn't buy any of the figures. Because
it's gonna be cool, man. I'm so excited for that one to come out.
Yeah,
it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, and it's not. I did not buy the figures because I didn't like the show. I bought them because they're not continuing with the show, and I have a mental block on that where I deem it almost EU at this point. You know what I mean? It's like if they're not going to recognize it, and again, that's just my quirky way of seeing things. If they came out and told us, look, Skeleton Crew is done and finished, that's a one-off. Perfect, cool. I'll go all in. But Acolyte didn't finish that way, and it wasn't promised that way. So. Yeah.
I will say, from the point of I'm a casual TVC collector, very much more a Black Series collector.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends that collect Black Series backed the Cantina for TVC, and that's because a lot of my friends have the nostalgia for that scene, and they've been going back and they've been buying a lot of the Power of the Force characters for those aliens and to fill up their cantinas. I really do feel for TVC collectors, because I understand Mr. Stevie says, Black Series is the character scale and TVC is the world building scale. And there's a lot of stuff in TVC that we will never get in Black Series. I understand all that. But you did a Return to Tatooine thing. And where is it? I've seen, there's one add-on playset that's come out, and maybe a couple other characters. And I know there's stuff been teased on posters and things like that. But I'm even hearing, my friends who are, definitely not nowhere near as much skin in the game as someone like Scott.
Right.
And they're saying the same thing that Scott is saying, where, hey, well, I bought this cantina. You guys said you were going to add to it. And so far I have a Jawa with more blasters than he can hold and a couple extra walls to put around my cantina. So I'm I'm hoping that Hasbro really leans into that and just commits to that. As we talked about themes earlier, I think
Yeah.
you make a HasLab, lean into that theme.
Yeah. I look, there's it's almost like we see the opportunities, we see the doors right there. We have the month of May and all the months leading up to May. May is Star Wars month, right? I mean, there's reasons why May exists in our world. It's this Star Wars month. You can open that up to true return, like I said, like a battle for Endor. Now you have more Endor stuff. You have Return to Tatooine. You can even go like the Senate, I am the Senate wave, right? And it's like, you can really utilize marketing schemes for Star Wars to bring back this whole thing full circle. Every summer, the movies are in the movie theaters. They bring back, even if it's for anniversary or they just have like a trilogy showing, there's still a demand and want and need to like really just live into the moments. And that's where I feel, like I said, if you look back, my only complaints on the live streams, again, it was like there was no rhyme or reason for a lot of the figures other than a current show. That's fine. I mean, that's a given, right? Current show, boom, Mando, here all this, but then they sneak it like, here's the Cantina playset. It's like, well, where'd that come from? Oh, well, that's a San Diego Comic-Con thing, okay. If they did, like I said, with the STAP, they should have had a support wave around that STAP, which they kind of did last, but it was sporadic. It was like all year, right? So I had the, it's just the marketing makes sense to do it like do you return to Tatooine? That means you change everything. You change your website, you change everything to this Return to Tatooine, and you kind of go like, hey, we're utilizing this to flesh things out, but also bring attention back into Star Wars and tell people why they love Star Wars, right? Don't just leave it up to Starlight Digest on Wednesdays. We will tell you why you love Star Wars, but I mean, like, we live this every day. We collect this stuff, and and it's fun for us, So having a broad marketing plan and waves make lots of Marvel Legends kills it with waves. Age of Apocalypse Wave 2, Age of Apocalypse Wave 3, boom, and everything. The entire wave makes sense, especially because they do the build of figures and all that stuff, right? It's almost like, they have like whoever's done with a model, bring it up to the counter. Okay, all right, package this up. All right, you're done. Droideka. Oh, then you have another Mandalorian Night Owl. Okay.
Here we go. Throw it all out.
So we as collectors look for that and we'll buy them. But how do you bring in like the excitement of around the movies itself if it's just doing sporadic, right? So again, I'm just open thinking here. I'm not, this is again, Hasbro. I'm just giving you my thoughts. I'm giving you my things because again, I am the person that wants to do this for a long time, and I want to see other people get into it. So even if you have to reboot some figures and get Luke and Leia on the shelves constantly, I'm all for it, man. In fact, I'll even buy them for nieces and nephews and charities and get just to get those out into the world.
I will say this. So Tommy did say something about the cantina and building the world and everything else like that. But I heard a little Jawas flag right there, man. They're vital to the Star Wars universe, man. They provide a service that no one else does on that planet. And to give us just one in that set was a crime. But like Scott said, the Sandcrawler, add a little bit other elements that we haven't seen. Maybe a Ben Solo kind of like interior somewhere. Start really kind of jumping into that because there's a lot of people that did feel that you did just give us just one wall and one section of the street, and you've got to add on and just be fully immersive in it. And I think if they did that, then the fans would first of all, whatever they're gonna do, somebody's gonna be upset about it.
Yes.
100%.
Oh yeah.
But I think the fans would appreciate a completion attitude to something.
Well, a lot of time, we did those midnight shows and it had like midnight toy lines like the Midnight Madness for they had like 8 figures. They say for Force Awakens they had like 8 figures or whatever, and we always went in there with knowing like these are just the first wave of 100 figures that are going to come out. And so after Last Jedi, you know, and again, maybe rightfully so, and maybe the writing was on the in the performances was like, when we do a show now, it's like we're gonna do 5 figures and then move on to the next one, so you're only getting like a support cast of this. And as you know, I don't know about other lines, but Star Wars Collectors was like, we like to see D-list, C-list characters being
absolutely.
fleshed out, you know, because it's just the way we are, you know. And so like Andor, I was surprised Andor actually went pretty deep in the original, you know, season 1, and
Season
hoping that
2's
they
got some stuff coming too.
Yeah.
They've got not nowhere near as many as even season 1, but
right.
They've got some cool ones coming.
Yeah, you know, Mandalorian. Besides the Mandalorian himself, they only made Mandos and Grogu's like abundance, and you know, so, and then of course they leaned hard into Mandalorians, which was an army building, and which is good.
Yeah.
But there was some other, you know, the stuff that makes Star Wars, right?
It's like they're almost there. Like I have a shelf for Mando season 1, season 2, season 3, and they've got like. Yeah, some background Mandos from season 1. They've got Migs Mayfeld and the droid. I want the rest of that team. It's like season 2. You've got groups of characters,
that team.
but there's like missing 1 or 2, and I want them. A biggest one for me, the sequel trilogy. Give me the other 4 or 5. What is it? 5? Yeah, the other 5 Knights of Ren.
Yes,
I want all of them, and they've only ever given us 1. I would love to get all 6 of the Knights of Ren. Because I have them as Funko Pops, and the only reason I still have them as Funko Pops is because they never made action figures of them all.
Yeah. I 100% agree with you, man. Like that's again, no, even with the sequel stuff, we went in there knowing, or went in there thinking, oh, it's par for the course. It's like they're gonna come out with these. So yeah, I'm gonna buy. If they told me you're only getting 1 Knights of Ren at the beginning, again, bad business. I get it, but it's turning people into that thought process. So they're not going to buy it knowing that Hasbro's not going to make the rest, even though maybe they have the intentions to. So good faith, bad faith, whatever, you know, they've really withdrawn on that aspect. And again, the movies didn't help as far as like, you know, the big backlash between Disney and whatever. That didn't help. And again, that's not Hasbro's fault. And that's not, you know, it's, if you don't like it, you don't like it. Hey, that's to each his own. But with Hasbro do it, like I said, with the character selection and kind of like doing a 180, I do feel the media is also going to be doing a 180 on that. We're going to slow down a bit, but what we're getting is going to be epic, you know? And so if that's the case, then the toys will be epic too, you know?
Yeah.
Because even if it's half of what we get, but they're going to be epic toys, you know, like I said, bigger vehicles or you know, fleshing things out. Like if they gave us the Cantina alien, I mean, like I said, drop in a bucket, that was just 5 Cantina aliens I gave you guys. There was like 10 more that could be spread out with another 5 or 6, 7 years. You know, eventually, Hasbro, you can't tease it that long where we all die. You know, like you can't, right? You know, you can't. You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be a point where you go, okay, we got to complete A New Hope. We have to. There's no more characters coming out for A New Hope. We have a finite character list. We have to complete it at some point.
I mean, you never know. We might have in 50 years the Baomar, Monk, Moocher, and Scott rolling around the Jabba's palace waiting for the next Cantina
I'd be like,
to come out, right?
We're never going to complete the Cantina aliens, are we? Speaking of that, Baomar Monk should have been one on my list too.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool one.
Build-A-Figure one, right? That'd be awesome.
And I would buy it. You know why? Because it showed up in the Clone Wars show. That's why I would buy one.
That's the only reason.
There he is. I'll put him on my Clone Wars shelf.
It was in Clone Wars and it was also in Book of Fett.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, very briefly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's all kinds of stuff that shows up in the Clone Wars that's from the original trilogy, like Jabba, Greedo, tons of there's literally the Mos Eisley cantinas in there. Yeah. Sorry, Chad. I am looking at what you're talking about. I'm not glossing over your comments. Trust me. Tyrone, you know, Acolyte came out the gate and it seemed like it was going to be a home run. It really did. And in most cases it was, you know, it had its moments. It has good things. And that's probably why they gave us like 5 Jedi right off the bat versus, you know, Stranger for obviously spoiler reasons, but like, you know, other
other characters and other figures. But they did have a lot for that show. You know, they went pretty main. I mean, there was only like 10 main characters anyway, and they did like 8 of them. You know, so
and they're great figures. All of that whole wave is all awesome action figures.
Yeah. So I mean, Scott, you're not here, so I'm sorry if I glossed over your TVC wish list. But I see you have a link there, your link tree. So I'm just gonna leave that up if you want to. I wonder if that's a thing that we can add and subtract, and then like take that list and send it to Hasbro.
It's like a fan poll every year. They do this kind of thing.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, it's the page is SWTVC. They run this like top 25 for their March Madness bracket.
Okay, because my thinking right off the bat was like, they told us to tell them what figures they want. So if we started collecting data and we started collecting like polls and be like, all right, Pitt, out of these 10 figures, which 2 do we want? And if we get enough, like almost like signatures, then we can send or make a present, say, hey guys, we're trying to get some steam for these figures to be made. Would they react to that, even if it's like or is it out of spite? Like I'm not gonna look that way because the fan, you know what I mean? The us versus them attitude, right? I refuse to believe that, but you know, it's there. I know it's there, but it's Scott. Yeah, no worries. You're not here to explain it properly to go break it all down, but you know what I wanted to point out was the blend between vintage and Black Series. We're almost on the same wavelength on a few things. Comic-Con's coming up. Max Rebo band. Let's go. Let's do it. Dr. Brentley. Okay, a 20 character set called Interior Cantina for $500. Fill the cantina, get all the side characters out of the way in one box. That we've talked about certain Hasbro or HasLab or something like that, where it's like, here is a 20 pack of characters.
Yeah.
And then, you know, again, they'll just get bitched at about the character selection. Unless Dr. Brentley's saying you cover them all. You know, you got even the snail dude that's on the walls of the or the Dr. Mandible, you know, the praying mantis dude.
Dude, seems like Dr. Brentley's trying to get that marketing job over at Hasbro.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I mean,
they're like $500 a set, bro. Whoa.
Yeah.
If I were to give like my legitimate predictions for this week's live stream, because I love talking wish lists, and then I get all starry eyed, and then I know. Then I go to the stream, and I'm like, I think what they're going to show off is at least one and/or Black Series figure to kind of ride the coattails of the hype. I'll be shocked if they don't, because I know that there are 4 that are factory leaked right now. There's a range trooper with a rocket launcher. There's a Cassian Andor in the TIE Avenger disguise. There's Director Krennic, which is new head to toe. Yeah. And then a Dedra Miro in like that officer armor that Thrawn wears. That same style of look from when the attack on Atollon and Rebels. So there's I'm thinking, if not all 4 of those, because I'm assuming one's going to be an exclusive or something, right, at least 1 or 2. And then I think there's this random big thing that no one knows that they teased earlier. But then if I were to give an actual prediction, I think they're kind of getting rid of the rest of the pipeline. So I think it's about time we see that Moff Gideon and Praetorian Guard that they pipelined 6 months ago now.
Right.
And those are a good pair, like how Anakin and Rex were a good pair to pre-order together.
Yeah.
These are good. They'll be good companion pieces to each other.
So this could be finalizing most of as far as the live stream figures of what has been either we know leaked or whatever, and then a surprise. Yeah. Because again, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but I know they said they teased Celebration. That might be a vintage collection thing. It might be whatever. I know that the Transformers HasLab will be finished by then, and it'll be primed. It'd be primed for another one. G.I. Joe is primed. Marvel's primed, and so is Star Wars will be primed. Maybe for that to run. But like, you know, you have Yojo June. So I mean, think about this. Exactly. Everything coincides. You're gonna if you release another HasLab in April 22nd during Celebration, that's a Star Wars one. And then the next one is in June. That'll be a G.I. Joe one, right? And then you can move into the fall with Marvel. You know, it again, and I'm anxious to see. I am very, very curious and anxious to see about this bigger ships idea, because if they eliminate Black Series HasLab, I'm cool with that. I personally,
Is what it is.
and I'm cool with that. Leave that for vintage collection, and they think they're doing great over there. I think that's what it is. But like, if I could sit here and have something cool right here, that's a $200 vehicle with minimal whatever and no lights, no sounds, of course.
Mhm.
But I think I'll be all right with that.
My Black Series TIE Fighter is looming under the desk, looking at me right now.
Yeah, I actually have two of them.
Oh my god!
Well,
dude.
I have one is sitting up way in the top, and I still have one in the box that it was gifted to me.
Okay, cool.
And I got that for $20 because for Barnes and Noble had a clearance of that TIE Fighter.
Wow.
Way back in the day.
$20.
$19.99 on BarnesandNoble.com. I jumped at it, and then someone gifted one to me, so I have two of them. The only I was like, I do want to give away the other one, but the box is all trashed. But I don't mean it's a giveaway. So, but it's still good. It's just the scratched. You know what I mean? But yeah. So maybe, you know what? If I don't figure out something, maybe I'll just donate it to Toys for Tots and have make some kid like.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good point.
Yeah. Because we're trying to do our May 4th trivia live event this year again. We're trying to work something out, Scott and I. So that's a great. We always do a toy drive for that too. Like I said, if you find anything on clearance like Ollie's, and even though you have 5 of them, buy them, donate them to Toys for Tots, any kind of charitable thing. It's a great idea to do. So.
I knew it was coming.
maybe Outrunner, maybe we've got tons of stuff, but Tommy, you had mentioned something about rumors.
I do have more rumors.
Let's
I always
finalize with that. Yeah.
So there were some more factory leaks. I recommend following 5017 Set on X. He is in cahoots with whoever is posting, sending him pictures of all these factory rejects and test shots that go to this. It's like this Chinese auction site where they'll just sell off like reject parts from action figures and things like that. It's like an eBay just for that. It's very strange, but you can like go to the website and browse.
So it's the black market. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, the Pinkertons come to your house. And they raid your house if you have them.
Yeah.
So they just did a couple of characters from Jedi Survivor are coming. They're doing Marin and they're doing Cal Kestis with handlebar mustache.
I did see that actually.
And then there were shots for additional shots for a new Palpatine and Mace Windu that are going to be a Revenge of the Sith 2-pack. They both have expressive, angry faces. So those are going to be interesting. And there was another one too. Give me just one moment. I'll pull it up here because I've been keeping up to date on my my images recently. There were more parts for a brand new head-to-toe Revenge of the Sith Anakin Skywalker, which I think if you didn't think that was coming this year, then
anniversary year, right?
Which that's what I think. I think that this is going to be another light one. I think a lot of collectors are expecting this stream to be very heavy on the
anniversary.
I think that's all going to be celebration. I think Hot Toys is saving it. I think Hasbro is saving it. Everybody's waiting for celebration, and then it's going to be the dump for the rest of the year.
I do believe that too. Because celebration has to have something. Because there's not a lot going on, so they have to have something. I'm expecting a lot of future reveals and everything.
Yeah, it's gonna be massive.
Awesome. Man. I love this hobby. The hobby's great. It's just something. Again, we get to do this, and that should be. I think one of those things. Like I said, Tommy did a great video on it and put me in my place for a little bit there. And I was like,
that video caught the attention of some of the grifters on Instagram. So if I must have really struck a chord with that video.
How dare you tell me
to make sneak diss rebuttal videos to mine,
Yeah. No, I mean it puts things in perspective a little bit. You know what I mean? Like I said, this is a privilege that we get to do, and don't kill yourself over it. Yeah. don't starve yourself out of living by doing this, and B,
Mhm.
they're just toys. So if
Yeah.
you know, but also I did one of these on a Moocher Monday too, as it's in our playlist. But I also did like a look at what you have versus what you don't have sometimes. Like
Exactly.
admire the collection
Yes.
and look at like, wow, there's so many cool things here. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
Tell me this,
coin
yeah.
a term called toy moderation. Actually, how running, man.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
not everything. Stop, like you said, stop looking at the things that you don't have. Look at the
Yeah.
things you do have, but also
Yeah.
have an appreciation.
Yeah.
Because there's some people that are less fortunate than us, and we have this point where
Yeah.
we're doing financially well, and we're bitching about pins and
Yeah.
didn't come down, and we totally get lost in the fact is that we are blessed to live in this time of abundantness
Yeah.
with everything. If whether you're Batman, Superman, whether you're Star Wars, GI Joe, something, you could find something to
Yeah.
blow your excess cash on.
Look what we had to say last year. Slow down. I can't slow down. I want it all. I want it
Yes.
all. Laxative Rack, Tommy has a channel. What's it about? Blitz transmissions, and he's going to tell you about it right now because we are signing off here. So, Tommy, you have the floor.
Yeah, so I cover all the Nick Jr. shows from 1995 to 2007, like the Backyardigans, Oswald, all your good cartoons. No, Blitz transmissions, Star Wars videos, all the time, every day. I recently started dipping into the short form content game. I finally started posting on my TikTok account that I made 6 months ago. Just trying to do easy, fun, light stuff that I don't have to actually put much thought into. I can just throw into the ether. Lots of cool videos coming up. I've got reviews. I just got this in the mail today. Watch this. Ordered it 2.5 years ago, and it finally showed up.
So beautiful. I saw the prototype at Celebration. Yeah.
I can't believe it finally showed up. But yeah, that's awesome. Got a review for that. I'm working on a video with my dad right now, putting together a coffee table diorama for my HasLab Ghost.
Nice.
So we're going to build a coffee table out of wood and get some tempered glass for the side panels and build a Lothal diorama inside.
Oh, that's awesome.
For a functional coffee table. So that's something we're in the works on right now. But yeah, aside from that, I think I got to hear from what's going on at the Shadow Nose Network, because it sounds like, when is there not something going on?
I mean,
network.
I mean, the check clears, so Alex is here. I mean, I can't, it's like
night and day, man, night and day. We're just trying to keep up with Blitz transmissions, because like I'll go to sleep and they'll say there's a Blitz transmission coming in, and then I'll wake up in the morning, by noon. I was like, man, we are just not working hard enough over here, bro.
No,
it's one guy over there, one guy.
I don't sleep. I just drink a lot of coffee.
Yeah.
No, we've got some good things right now. Myself and Chet, we were invited down to Toy Atlanta. So we'll be going down to Toy Atlanta with the Odd Frog Entertainment and David Vonner, the godfather of Marvel Legends. So we'll be there, and we're going to do something kind of cool. We're going to actually be live streaming from the actual booth. And so, like, we're planning a couple of things. We're going to talk about some stuff over on the Blitz transmissions and over on the Sorlac Digest, and of course over at SKN. So we're trying to plan some situations and things going. But we got 2 live streams. If you like talking about toys, on Wednesday, Toy Box Chronicles, 7 p.m. Sorry, East Coasters. It's 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Commander Bly, we're sorry, but it's been established from the beginning. Chet and myself talk about toys on Friday. Pixel Plastic Inc. It's a catch-all. So if you like films, you like toys, you like comics, we run that too. Same time, 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. in Eastern Standard Time. And we're just trying. We got a new unbox. It's called it's the basically no word unbox that we have up on the site right now, and it's the Mezco Conan. And the guys behind the scenes, like, I love to take all credit that I do, but we got some production guys back there. It's probably one of the better cinematic videos I've seen on our site.
Oh, wow. Well, that's saying much. I mean, you're trying to outdo yourself. Okay.
Yeah, they do. They constantly, they have this little competition.
That's great. That's fantastic. That's awesome. I love it. Oh,
and then from there, we're catching everything over the Sorlac Digest, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, nerd alert. It's never too late. of course, if you're watching this on replay, get your comments in the section below. Blitz Transmissions and Shadow Knows Network, the links are in the description. Also, go check them out. Of course, it's one big happy family here. I love our Monday shows where we pull in all the best minds. We get to like concentrate on a hobby we love. But again, if you are interested in Sarlacc Digest, Star Wars podcast, where we break down Star Wars content to the T, where it's brand new trailers that just dropped versus a new Disneyland ride. We don't just give you a breakdown, a scene by scene breakdown. We're going to dive into and find out what it all means really in the grand scheme of Star Wars canon and put it in its place. You know, we have a great time over there. So those Wednesdays, again, sorry, East Coast, 8 p.m. Pacific time. But again, you know, replay crew is always welcome. And of course, we're always in the chat. We're always in the comments, and we have our Discord, which I got to get the link in our description. I promise I'll get that there. Join our Discord because the conversation never, ever stops. But I think that's it for today. Wednesday live stream, guys, on Hasbro Pulse. Watch it, and let's get talking. We will see you on Monday next week when we break it down and find out what they actually revealed and see what we could offer as far as constructive criticism again, or is it all going to be rainbows and unicorns? Like, hey,
I'll also be live streaming that live.
Oh,
So
good.
My live reactions on Wednesday. So when they reveal Pong Krell, you'll see me faint in the back of my chair.
Tommy, you know what? I need to 3D print like a 3-foot version of it or something. Especially, well, who knows? Is Pong Krell going to be your mascot, or is Boss Nass going to be your mascot for?
No, he's right here. Right here.
You already got him. All right, cool.
Krell in the Black Cities.
Nice. I'll leave it with this. Hal Runner, is there going to be a last off? Of course.
Oh, yeah,
of course. If anybody who doesn't know what the last off is, the last person to leave a comment or just say, hey, I don't care if it's a period. But the last person before the stream shuts down and goes to the ether, goes to the web of YouTube videos, we are gonna mark your position down, and there is a prize. Stay tuned for Wednesday for more details. But let the last off commence now. You guys are on it. Thank you guys. Thank you for your time. We will see you on Wednesday on these guys' channels and on next Monday. So thank you, Pitt. You're awesome. Keep it nerdy. I'll do Scott's tagline.
Yeah,
keep it nerdy, guys.
This is Grand Admiral Thrawn. You are listening to the Sarlacc Digest. What a fascinating play on words.